New York in the 1700s was a city in transition, a small colonial settlement poised to become a global powerhouse. Home to fewer than 25,000 people at the dawn of the century, yet already shaped by forces that would define the modern world: trade, finance, immigration, and empire. This was not yet the city of skyscrapers. It was a port city, a merchant city, and a city where geography quietly shaped destiny. Thanks to advanced AI reconstruction tools, we can now recreate 18th century New York with remarkable accuracy. By analyzing contemporary maps, paintings, shipping records, and architectural surveys, we can visualize the streets, buildings, and daily life of the city as it appeared more than 300 years ago. Let us begin with this extraordinary bird's-eye view of Lower Manhattan in the mid-18th century. You are looking north from the harbor toward the settlement that was once called New Amsterdam. The shoreline is irregular, unfinished, shaped more by necessity than planning. Dominating the scene is Fort George, later known as Fort Amsterdam, guarding the southern tip of the island. This fortress controlled access to the Hudson River and protected one of the most valuable natural harbors in the world. The waterfront is crowded with sailing ships. Merchant vessels from the Caribbean, Europe, and the American colonies unload sugar, rum, furs, timber, and tobacco. This harbor was New York's lifeblood. Every crate and barrel represented capital flowing into the city. Just inland lies a wide open space known as the Bowling Green. This was New York's first public park and a fashionable gathering place for the colonial elite. At its center once stood an equestrian statue of King George III, a symbol of British authority that would later be torn down during the American Revolution. From here, we move north along Broadway. In the 1700s, Broadway was already the city's main artery. Originally a Native American trail, it evolved into the spine of colonial New York. Elegant townhouses line the street, interspersed with taverns, shops, and churches. This was where news traveled fastest and deals were made face to face. Notice how narrow the streets are. New York grew organically, not by grand design. Unlike Paris or London, this city expanded through commerce rather than aristocratic planning. Now we arrive at Wall Street. In the early 18th century, this street marked the northern boundary of the settlement. A wooden wall once stood here, built by the Dutch to protect against attack. By the 1700s, the wall was gone, but its name remained. This was already becoming the financial heart of the city. Merchants gathered under buttonwood trees to trade stocks, bonds, and commodities. There was no formal exchange building yet. Trust was personal. Deals were sealed with handshakes. This informal marketplace would eventually evolve into the New York Stock Exchange. Just east lies the East River waterfront. Shipyards line the shore, their masts forming a dense forest against the skyline. This was one of the busiest shipbuilding centers in the colonies. The river connected New York to global trade routes and made the city indispensable to the British Empire. Across the water, Brooklyn is still rural farmland. Ferries shuttle people and goods back and forth, long before bridges would link the boroughs. We now move north to Trinity Church. The church you see here is an earlier incarnation of the landmark that still stands today. Its spire dominated the colonial skyline, a visible symbol of British influence and religious authority. Trinity Church was not only a place of worship, but also a major landowner, controlling vast tracts of Manhattan real estate. Land ownership, even then, was power. As the century progressed, New York grew rapidly. Immigrants arrived from Europe, merchants accumulated wealth, infrastructure expanded. By the late 1700s, New York had replaced Philadelphia as the most important commercial city in the young United States. The American Revolution would temporarily disrupt this growth. British troops occupied the city for 7 years. Fires destroyed large sections of Lower Manhattan. Yet when the war ended, New York rebounded faster than any other city, because the fundamentals were already in place. A deep harbor, a strategic location, a culture built on trade, finance, and ambition. The New York of the 1700s was small, chaotic, and unfinished. But the blueprint of the modern metropolis was already visible. History has preserved these moments through maps, paintings, and written records. With modern technology, we can finally step inside them. So tell us in the comments, Which historic city should we bring back to life next?